down. Feel the floor underneath you. Take a moment to feel whatever parts of your body are touching the floor or are touching the yoga mat. Wiggle around a little bit, whatever you need to do so that you can get comfortable. And then if you want to place your hands on your torso somewhere, maybe your heart, maybe your belly, maybe both, go ahead and do that, but just make sure you are comfortable. And then just let yourself feel and experience your breath. As you feel and experience your breath, exactly how it showed up for you this morning, try to just be in the experiential rather than the analytical or the judgmental. You don't have to really make any words to describe your breath, just feel it from the inside out. If there's any last, or even not last, but just thoughts that are still kind of circulating through your mind, just observe that they're there without trying to stop them or change them. And continue to move your attention away from the thoughts, but more towards your breath. So the thoughts are more like a background, and your breath is the star of the show. As the star of the show, it's allowed to, change and move and transform. Slowly, naturally, your breath will start to deepen. Start to bring you a little bit more into the center. Wherever you are, just take 3 more really deep breaths. On your next inhale breath, reach your arms back behind you. Reach your legs out in front of you. Take a nice long stretch. Reach your fingertips back. Reach your heels towards the wall in front of you. Good. And then catch a hold of your left wrist and gently start to pull your body off towards the right side of your mat. If you want more, you can cross your left ankle over your right and breathe into the left side of your body. So you're in the shape of a banana. Awakening your side body, your lats, your obliques, your outer hips, your IT band. Bring it back to the center. Catch a hold of your opposite wrist, pull off towards the left. If you want a little more, cross your right ankle. Imagine you could press your hips out towards the right. And focus on the sensations that you feel in your side body. Make sure you're not holding your breath right away, right? We already tend to restrict our breath. Good, so bring it back into the center. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. One and then the other. And then start to circle your ankles around and around. Start to wake up your ankles and your feet. See if you can create a little movement in your toes even. Circle the opposite direction. Good, and then extend your left leg down on the yoga mat. Keep holding onto your right knee. You can bend your left knee if that's a little bit much for this morning, and start to circle your knee around and around. Just lubricating that hip socket. Good, and then go the other way as well. Okay, and then extend the right arm out to the right and slowly twist over towards the left. And you can gaze towards the right. Be gentle. Allow your breath to remain deep and steady and full. Alright, slowly bring it back to the center. Catch a hold of the back of your thigh. And then don't worry about straightening your leg all the way, but we're just gonna kind of warm up our knees a little too. So just start to straighten your leg any amount and bend. And straighten, and bend, and straighten, and bend. And then straighten one more time. And it doesn't matter if you get all the way straight or not, you can stay bent. I want you to take that right sitting bone and try to move it towards the left inner ankle. Yeah, so you feel your pelvis get a little bit more lined up here. Good. And then reach through the ball of your foot, separate your toes. Imagine that you could put your toe print on the ceiling. Great, and then flex your ankle. And just observe that stretch running down the back of your leg. Good, hug your knee in towards your chest one more time. And add your left knee to the equation, so hug your left knee in. Circle your ankles around and around again. Both directions. Good, and then continue to hold on to your left knee. Extend your right leg out either straight or bent, you decide what feels best. And then start to move your thigh bone around inside of your hip socket. It's like your thigh bone is a spoon and you're trying to scoop out the inside of the bowl of your hip socket. So go ahead and go the opposite way as well. Good. And then keep holding onto your left knee with your right hand. Extend your left arm out to the left and slowly follow your breath into the twist. You can gaze towards the left. Notice anything that's feeling hard and soften it. Imagine with the softening, we're just allowing more movement through the channels of our body, right? If we're hard, if we're tense, if we're rigid, we're not really allowing that energy to flow. So work with yourself to see how you can get a little softer. Okay. And then bring it back into the center. Catch the back of your hamstring. And then start to bend and straighten and bend your left knee. Don't worry about anything just yet. Just imagine you were just trying to open up this joint. And then the next time your leg is straight-ish, hold it straight-ish. It definitely doesn't have to be all the way straight. In fact, it's a little better if it's kind of bent. Then you can move your left sitting bone towards the front of your mat a little bit more. So you square off your pelvis. And then reach through the ball of your foot, separate your toes. And then flex your toes towards your shin. Observe what your right leg is doing. Make sure your right leg is neutral. So if your leg is extended, the inner thigh is spinning down towards the floor. Good. And then re-bend your left knee. Add your right knee to the equation. Good. And then catch behind your legs and start to rock and roll yourself up and down the length of your spine. Always do it at least 3 times. See if you can feel the entire surface area of your back making contact with your yoga mat. And then eventually you roll yourself all the way up. Hi, Sally, joins us. Nice to see you. Come to hands and knees. Fingers spread out nice and wide. And just start to move your spine. So moving through cat and cow a few times to the tempo of your breath. See if you can observe where your movement is originating from. If it's originating from your lower back or your thoracic spine or your cervical spine. And let's try to create a little bit more movement in the thoracic spine. So you can imagine that you're bringing your heart forward, like you're trying to show off a medallion on your chest when you're coming into cow. And when you're coming into cat, imagine that you could suction your heart all the way back up into your shoulder blades. And then let the rest of your spine just kind of follow along, the cervical and the lumbar. Good, and then you can open this up and make some nice big circles or anything that you want here. If you're circling, circle in the opposite direction. Good, and then come to a neutral spine and turn your fingers out. Take your hands a little bit wider, turn your fingers out so they're facing the sides, and just start to rock yourself side to side. So you just feel a little bit of a stretch into the wrists. Good. And then come back into the center. Turn your fingers around to face your knees. You can do one at a time. It's intense. And then micro bend your elbows. And start to shift your hips backwards any amount. Good. And then flip your hands over again. And as you flip your hands over and you press down into that inner part of your palm, imagine that the inseams of your arms become longer. Firm your forearms in towards one another. And on your inhale breath, extend your right leg straight back behind you, toes down on the yoga mat. And with your toes down on the yoga mat, start to spin your right inner thigh up towards the ceiling. You'll notice what that does is it pulls that left outer hip crease back towards the midline. And then using the strength of your abdominals to support this movement, start to float your right leg up. So your right leg is straight back behind you, your heels in line with your sitting bone. On your inhale breath, stretch your left arm forward as if you were to shake someone's hand, so karate chopping the floor sort of situation. And notice the midline channel of your body. So the cylinder of your torso is drawing in towards the midline as you hold and continue to elongate your limbs away from one another. Good. Place your left hand back down and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Good, and then you're gonna keep your right hand down. You're gonna press your right arm into your right leg, and we're gonna do a reverse twist. We're gonna take the left arm up to the sky. Yeah, good. So as you take your left arm up to the sky, you're pressing your elbow and your knee in towards one another, but you're trying to pull your right hip underneath you. And then take that left arm and stretch it forward. And feel the side body again. Right lung is spinning down towards the floor. Left lung is spinning up towards the ceiling. Find your breath. Good, and then slowly circle your left arm back down. Place your hands down, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee up off of the mat. And then just walk your fingertips forward and just let your spine release. And some nice deep breaths here. Good, walk your hands back in. And then take your hands on either side of your right leg and just start to straighten that leg any amount. Inhale, bend your knee, lift your chest. Yeah. Exhale, straighten your leg any amount. Inhale, bend your knee, lift your heart. One more time, straighten your leg. And then bend back down. And drop your back knee down again. Uncurl your toes. Walk your hands up onto the top of your right quadricep and then straighten your arms all the way. And so you're feeling that you could lengthen through the front of your spine. Good. Reach your arms out in front of you, interlace your hands, and you're just gonna stretch your wrists. So invert your palms. Good. Now think about those front ribs staying hugging in, and on your inhale breath, slowly start to lift the arms up towards the ceiling. So you might find that they don't go as far as they normally will. That's okay. Use your breath and think about elongating through the front of the spine to continue to elongate through both sides of the body. Good, so just notice which way you've interlaced this time. Release, allow your palms to turn to face one another. And then bring your hands down and bring it back into tabletop position. And as you come back into tabletop position, another nice big circle through your spine. Just let yourself feel that kind of unequal situation on both sides of the body. Good, and then set yourself up again. So come back into that really neutral tabletop position. So the foundation of our practice is awareness. So even when we're doing something as simple as setting up a tabletop, we're thinking about it. We're trying to put our attention into our body so that it goes away from all that energy that gets condensed into our mind. So extend your left leg back behind you, toes down on the yoga mat, And observe, did you sink out to the right hip? Firm that right hip in, spin that left inner thigh up towards the ceiling, and keep that action as you start to float the left leg up. So your heel is in line with your sitting bone. Stretch your right arm forward as if you were to shake someone's hand, and bring your awareness into the cylinder of your torso. Are your ribs sticking out? Can you draw your ribs in a little bit more so that your rib cage is even, your torso is even on all four sides? Steady, deep breathing. Another foundation of our practice. We keep our attention on our body and on our breath. Good. Slowly bring your right hand down. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand, and then reverse twist. So the left hand stays down. You're sealing your elbow and your left leg together. Open your right arm up to the ceiling. Think about your left chest lifting up towards the ceiling. Think about the left lung spinning down towards the floor as the right lung continues to open, and then reach your right arm over you. Long line of energy. Curling your your right pinky finger down towards the floor so you feel that external rotation in your shoulder. Nice big circle with your right arm. Place both hands down. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee up off of the mat, and walk your fingertips forward. So you're propped up onto your fingertips. You're pressing your right heel back away from you. You're letting your spine just lengthen out. Good, and then walk your hands back in. You can place your hands on either side. Lift your chest on your inhale. And on your exhale, straighten your left leg any amount. And the sides are different, so let them be how they are. Inhale, bend your knee, lift your chest. Exhale, straighten that leg any amount. Bend your knee, lift your chest. Exhale, straighten that leg any amount, just warming up the joints. Bend your knee, lift your chest. Good, and then drop your back knee down. Uncurl your toes. Walk your hands onto the top of your thigh. And then straighten your arms. And as you straighten your arms, allow that sensation of extension to translate into your torso. Good. And then interlace your hands the weird way in front of you. Invert your palms. Feel that stretch through the forearms and the wrists. And very slowly on your inhale, start to float your arms up to the sky. So the more you float them up, the more you draw those back ribs up and away from your kidneys. Breathe. Good. Release your palms. Bring your hands down and bring it back into tabletop position. Good. And then tuck your toes up under and hover your kneecaps just a ½ inch above your yoga mat. And then keeping your knees very, very bent. Start to shift your torso backward. Start to shift your hips backwards. So you're in a very bent leg, downward facing dog. And then think about lifting the hips up. Lifting the hips up as high as you can. Start to release the heels down any amount. And then walk your hands to the outside of your yoga mat. Wrap your fingertips around the edge of the yoga mat so you're holding the edge and try to rip your yoga mat in half. And notice how when you do that, you can get a little bit more extension. Your hips can go backwards a little bit more. When we do this a lot, bend the elbows out to the side like you're doing a push-up. So the top of your head goes down towards the floor. And then swivel your elbows around towards the back and then straighten the arms like you're trying to pull the yoga mat forward. And so you feel your shoulder blades now broadening and moving down towards the triceps, towards the pinky fingers. And then step your hands back to shoulder distance apart. Downward facing dog, 5 breaths to just be present here. Feeling the foundation, feeling the floor underneath you. Allowing the breath to move in and to move out. And just observing if there's any constriction in your channels. Glance back at your feet. Separate your feet as wide as your yoga mat. And then slowly walk your hands back towards your feet. When you get there, soften your knees a little bit. Clasp your opposing elbows. And imagine you could frame your face with your arms. And just letting the top of your head weight down towards the floor as the sides of your hips, or as the sides of the hips lift up. Good. Notice which forearm you have clasped on top. Release your fingertips to the floor, to your shins as you inhale, lengthen your chest. As you exhale, fold back in. And then switch the clasp of your elbows. So let it feel a little bit different. There's the different way. And you think about lifting the sides of the hips up. Good. And then release your fingertips to the floor, to your shins. As you inhale, extend your chest forward. Feel the sides of your waist grow long. Good. And as you exhale, fold back in. And then you're going to walk your hands all the way forward into a plank pose. You can pass through downward facing dog on the way. When you get into that plank pose, bring your feet hip distance apart. And imagine that you were firming a block between your calves and drawing the sides of the rib cage up, like there's a giant beach ball underneath your waist. And you're pushing the floor away so that you feel your shoulder blades separating on your back. Think about the top of your skull magnetizing towards the front of the room. Make sure you're not dropping your head down. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, pitch yourself forward onto your tippy toes and lower your belly all the way down onto the mat. Good. Once you land on the mat, take your fingertips out to the outsides of your mat. Your elbows are bent. So rolling cobra, you're going to press into your fingertips and you're going to think about lifting your heart forward and then up. Inhaling. Exhaling, allowing yourself to roll back down. You can use the strength of your arms, so use that foundation that you have. Inhale, extend, elongate, then lift. Exhale, release back down. One more time, inhale, lift it up. And exhale, roll it down. Good. Place your hands directly underneath your elbows, so they're back a little further than usual. And imagine you could pull your yoga mat backwards, lift your chest for a baby cobra. Relax your shoulders away from your ears and imagine you could press your shoulder blades into the front of your body. And as you exhale, release it down. Shift your hips back into a child's pose. Separate your knees wide, big toes touch. And as you come into this child's pose, just allow yourself to feel the torso extend, feel the hips drop down into the heels. Feel the breath into the back of your body. Good. Just a reminder, this is always available whenever you need it. It's already built in, it's imprinted into your practice. So shift forward again and find your way back into a plank pose. Find that strength through the torso. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog, and just observe your journey. As you inhale, shift into plank again. And feel the moment when your abdominals catch you in plank, where they really start to work. As you exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. As you inhale, shift it back into plank. So you just feel your core and your shoulders warming up. One more time, lift your hips. And inhale, shift it forward into a plank pose. Good. Drop your knees down. Think about pulling your yoga mat backwards. Imagine you were peering off the front edge of your yoga mat. Draw your front ribs in, hug them in. And as you exhale, lower halfway down and hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, press up. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lower down. Halfway. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, press up. Hold, push the floor away. 2, 1. Last one. Halfway down. Feel the front of your body resisting the floor. 3, 2, 1. And press yourself back up. Push the floor away. 3, 2, 1. Good. You can stay on your knees, or if you want a little more, lift your knees up off of the floor. Lower yourself halfway down. We won't hold. And then release all the way down to the mat. Baby cobra or upward facing dog. And if you're taking upward facing dog, you're thinking about the tailbone moving towards the pubic bone. You're thinking about the shoulder blades moving into the chest and the shoulders away from the ears. Your arms are vertical. They're straight up and down. On your exhale breath, lift your hips up and back into that downward facing dog. Take another 5 breaths. And allow yourself to recalibrate into a position of balance, into a feeling of balance. The left hand, the right foot, the left foot. The mind, the body, the spirit. And this time we're going to walk our feet all the way forward to the front of the mat. Feet are inner hips distance apart. Knees are soft. Think about lifting your kneecaps with your quadriceps. So start to engage your quadriceps and notice how it creates a little bit more stretch into your hamstrings. And again, inhale, lengthen your chest forward. And exhale, release the spine. On your inhale breath, press into the 4 corners of your feet. Rise up, gather the energy up above you. And as you exhale, draw your hands into your heart and just pause here for a moment. So this practice, again, another one of our foundation principles is presence. So what does it mean to be present here in this moment, just standing here? What does it mean to feel your feet against the floor? To feel the current of energy lifting up into your pelvis? To feel the elongation of your spine, to feel your shoulders open, and to feel the clarity of your mind. Good. Any intention that comes to mind from here, any insights, just let them happen. Release your fingertips down. Lift your chest. On your inhale, circle the arms, reach up to the sky. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward. Ujjayi Pranayama, so make sure your breath is audible as you inhale, lift your chest. As you exhale, step your left foot to the back of the yoga mat, pause. Root your palms down. Slide your right foot back. You can drop your knees if you need to. Inhale, shift forward, hug the belly in. As you exhale, lower halfway down. Beautiful. As you inhale, lift the chest. Baby cobra, downward facing dog. Make sure that you're not arching through your lower back. So tailbone towards the heels. And as you exhale, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward. Pause. Let's be in that lunge. See if you can find the midline of your body from the inseam of your right ankle all the way through your torso and the crown of your head. Step your right foot forward. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold back in. Root down, rise up. Gather that energy up above you on your inhale. Ujjayi Pranayama, keep your breath steady as you exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, circle the arms, keep the tailbone heavy. Inner thigh spinning backward. Exhale, fold forward. Quadriceps are lifting the kneecaps. Inhale, lift your chest, get long. And as you exhale, step your right foot to the back of the mat. Pause. Just observe. Can you feel that inseam from the right leg right inseam all the way through the crown of your head? Root your palms down. Slide your left foot backwards, top of a push-up, shift forward on your inhale, on your exhale, lower halfway. On your inhale, baby cobra, upward facing dog. Be very precise if you're taking upward facing dog, that your tailbone is moving towards your pubic bone is moving towards your navel, and you can really open up through the chest. As you exhale, take your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, pause, low lunge. Feel that line of energy from the back leg all the way through the crown of the head. And then step your left foot forward to meet your right. On your inhale breath, lift your chest. On your exhale, fold in. On your inhale, circle the arms, reach all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale, hands to your heart. One more round. Take this round on your own. Just let yourself feel every move, every sinew of every muscle, every connection of breath on the cellular level, moving energy, moving nutrition and nourishment into your tissues. If you wanted to jump back this time, you can. Just make sure if you're jumping, you land with bent elbows. You land in chaturanga, not with straight arms. And eventually, taking your hips up and back into that downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Need to move around a little bit. Remember when we grabbed the outsides of the yoga mat and drew the elbows back? Imagine that you were just going to take your elbows from pointing out to the sides to bringing the elbows to pointing down towards your mat. And imagine you were trying to open 2 jars in opposite directions with your hands. Inhale your right leg straight back behind you. The hip is neutral. And then turn your toes open and bend your heel towards your tush. Now notice what your left hip did. Can you keep firming that left hip in? And keeping that left hip nice and stable and the arms and the shoulders nice and stable. Start to circle your thigh bone inside of your hip socket. Good, and then go the other way. Shoulders stable, keep your attention on what is really happening. Good, and then extend your legs straight back behind you again. Get really long. As you exhale, step your right foot forward. Turn your left foot on its edge. And then take your your right hand to the inside of your right ankle, your elbow and your knee seal in towards one another, and take your left arm up to the sky. So coming into side angle pose. Kind of warmed up for it in the beginning. So as you hug that right sitting bone underneath you, make sure your right knee is tracking right over the second and third toe. Take your left arm over your ear and reach. Pinky finger turns down towards the floor. So as your pinky finger turns down, your arm is in external rotation, your shoulder's in external rotation. You can feel that shoulder blade trying to shade your armpit as you try to turn the right side of your chest up a little bit more. Good. And then inhale your top arm back up to the sky and circle your arm all the way down. Pivot to the ball of your back foot and walk your fingertips forward again. Again, walk your fingertips back in. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, straighten your front leg. Again, inhale, bend your knee, lift your chest. Exhale, straighten your leg. One more time, bend your knee, lift your chest. Good, now stay here. Squeeze the inner thighs in towards one another until you feel your pelvic floor engage. Walk your right hand on top of your thigh, walk your left hand on top of your thigh, and straighten your arms all the way. Now imagine you have a tail and you're pulling your tail forward. So you feel that your tailbone is moving forward, right? We're not gonna tuck, but we're just gonna make sure we're not arching, yeah? Arms are straight. Reach your arms forward, interlace your fingers, invert your palms. And as you inhale, slowly start to float those arms up, glancing at your right knee. Make sure it's tracking left inner thigh, spinning up towards the ceiling. Take a big inhale here. And as you exhale, side bend towards the right as you maintain your balance. Inhale, take it back up. Release your palms, turn them to face one another. Good, and then bring your hands down on either side of your right foot. Walk your fingertips forward again and float your back leg up. So it's kind of like when we were in that, what is that called? That quadruped position in the beginning where we were on hands and knees with one arm extended and one leg. We just have the leg right now. Can you lift your pelvis up off of your right thigh at the same time you turn your left inner thigh up towards the ceiling? Good, and then you're gonna slowly start to bend your right knee. You're gonna reach your left leg way back behind you. Low lunge again, lift your chest. And then root your palms down. Step your right foot back into a plank pose. Elongate through the whole length of your body on your inhale. And on your exhale, halfway down, belly hugs in. Inhale, baby cobra, upward facing dog. Make sure your arms are straight up and down. Tailbone is lengthening. Exhale, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Relax the head down so that your arms are in line with your ears. Your elbows keep trying to swivel down towards the mat as you press into the inner part of your palm, right between your thumb and your first finger. So you're trying to open those jars in opposite directions. Relax through your inner upper shoulders. Allow your shoulder blades to get even broader. And then inhale your left leg straight back behind you. Turn your toes out to the side. Bend your knee like you're gonna put your heel into your tushy. And then notice if your right hip swung out to the side. Stabilize your right hip, stabilize your shoulders, and start to circle your thigh bone inside of your hip socket. And go the other way. And then when you're ready, find that length again, neutralize it, and then slowly start to shift forward. Step your foot between your hands. Seal your right foot on its edge and walk your left hand to the inside of your left ankle. Of course, you could put a block there. And then peel your chest open, right arm reaches up to the sky. Left hip firms underneath you towards the side you're looking towards. And then as you root down into the outer edge of your back foot, extend that top arm up and over, going for so much length. Stay there. Stay there. I'm gonna come see you guys. Yeah, so you're breathing. You're thinking about how much you can elongate. Mary, try to turn your chest up a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Nice, you guys. And then take that top arm back up to the sky. Circle your arm around, pivot to the ball of your back foot, and walk your fingertips forward. And you walk your fingertips forward, just let your spine relax down. Breathe. Walk your hands back in, lift your chest as you inhale. As you exhale, straighten your left leg any amount. Maybe your right heel moves towards the floor. Inhale, bend your knee, lift your chest. Exhale, straighten left leg. Inhale, bend your knee, lift your chest. Exhale, straighten up. Imagine you had a cable pulling you up from the pelvic floor. One more time, bend your knee. Walk your fingertips forward again. And then float that right leg up. And as you do, feel that right inner thigh spiraling up towards the ceiling. Left hip firms in. Torso is long, right? So we don't want to get lazy in the torso. You want to keep the body striving and reaching. Stay there. Nice. Good, Paula. Nice pat. Pat, turn your toes down a little bit more. Good, you guys. And then slowly start to bend that left knee. Reach your right leg way back behind you. Land on the ball of your foot. Root your palms down. Slide your left foot back to meet your right. Get nice and long through that central channel of your body. Inhale. Exhale, vinyasa if you want it. You guys know these are always optional. If you're taking them mindfully. Good. And then from here, lift your right leg up to the sky. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand and drop your hips down into Malasana. So just have a moment here. Bring your palms together. Use your elbows to press your knees apart from one another. And then it's very tempting to kind of like curl up into a little ball. So press your palms so that you can extend and elongate your spine. Yeah, good, Sharon. Beautiful. Awesome. Hands to the floor. Inhale, lift your hips up. Sorry, that's an exhale. Inhale, bend your knees, lift your chest again. Exhale, straighten your legs. Inhale, bend your knees, lift your chest. Good, one more time. Straighten the legs. And then bend it down. Good. And then lift your hips up. Heel toe your feet so they're inner hips distance apart. Inhale, lift the chest. And as you exhale, fold it in. Good. Heel toe your feet again so that your big toes are touching, your heels are slightly apart. Bend your knees, circle your arms, Utkatasana chair pose. Good, and then in this chair pose, you're gonna start to lift your, let's say your left heel up off of the floor. And then curl your left knee in towards your chest. And then stand all the way up and wrap your arms around the front of your knee. And just pause here, find your balance. Now again, we have to think about what that left sitting bone is doing. So it's usually lifting up, so you wanna make sure it's magnetizing down towards the floor and towards the midline of our body. Good. And then going for the balance, just open your arms up, palms towards the ceiling, biceps towards the ceiling. Flex your left foot a lot, like you're pressing down with the sole of your foot. And inhale your arms up to the sky. Good. Release your foot, bend your knees, Utkatasana chair pose. Make sure you can feel the front of your body firming. Start to float your right heel up off of the floor. Start to float your right knee in towards your chest. And as you stand up, wrap your arms around the front of your right knee. Just pause. So notice, what is your sitting bone doing? Can you feel the inner thighs, both of them? The left inner thigh is spinning backward, the right inner thigh is spinning down towards the floor. Take your arms out to the sides, biceps spinning up towards the ceiling. Notice if you're stressed, flex your right foot a lot. Keep that right sitting bone heavy and inhale the arms up. Good. Slowly start to bend your knees. Keep the arms lifted. Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, fold forward and straighten the legs. As you inhale, lift the chest. As you exhale, vinyasa. Step or jump. Option to skip, of course. Good. Inhale your right leg straight back behind you. As you exhale, shift forward, curl your knee in towards your chest and step your foot between your hands. Seal your left foot on its edge. Listen carefully. Okay, so your right hip is hugging underneath you. You are going to walk your hands towards the left front corner of your mat. So off on a diagonal. There we go. Yeah, so you're thinking about still tracking your right sitting bone towards the arch of your left foot as you allow your spine to release here. So we've done a few different variations of this, letting the spine release down towards the floor, letting the spine drape. Good. And then walk your hands back in. So you're back in like a side angle position, elbow and knee seal together. Left arm comes back up to the sky. And then stretch your left arm over your ear. Long line of energy. So make a connection from your back, outer left heel, through your fingertips. You always have the option to reach that right arm forward too if you want a little bit more. And then take your left arm back up to the sky and start to straighten your right leg any amount. So moving into Trikonasana from here. Press into the mound of your right big toe. Think about elongating through that right leg. A block is really helpful here underneath that right hand. And then if you want to extend that left arm over you, really breathe through the left side of the body. Left arm over your ear. Good, and continue the journey. Circle your left arm down. Pivot to the ball of your back foot. Bend your right knee. Lengthen your chest forward. Good, and then walk your fingertips forward again. And float your back leg heel to the height of your sitting bone. Great. There's a couple of options here. You're either going to bring your hands to your heart or your hands to your hips. And then you're going to start to stand all the way up and bring your knee into your chest. As you exhale, find your way back into Warrior Three. So think about where you're moving from. It should be the creasing of your hips. And as you inhale, stand all the way up. Bring your knee in towards your chest. Good. One more time. Exhale. Find your Warrior Three. And as you exhale, you're wrapping your torso, you're wrapping your core muscles in towards the midline. And as you inhale, stand all the way up. Good. Take your arms out. Palms face, biceps face up towards the ceiling. And as you inhale, circle your arms all the way up. Keep your right inner thigh spinning straight back behind you and extend the left leg any amount. Notice if you're lifting that left sitting bone, keep dropping it in towards the midline. Good, bring your hands to your heart or to your hips. Make that transition one more time through Warrior Three. And then slowly start to bend your right knee, reach your left knee back behind you. Land in a crescent. Imagine you had that tail that you were pulling through. Inhale your arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, bring your hands down, drop your back knee down. Uncurl your toes. Good, and then circle your right arm around, bend your left knee, and catch your ankle if it's available. Release your ankle, circle your arms. And then walk your hands up to the quadricep. Straighten your arms all the way and circle your arms up again. Good, bring your hands to your heart, lean forward and twist your left elbow across to the outside of your right thigh bone. Press your palms together. Lift the left side of your chest towards your thumbs. If you want to tuck your back toes and have a little more, go for it. Where is your Ujjayi Pranayama, that breath, slow and steady, deep and fulfilling? Last one. And on your exhale, release. And find your way back through a vinyasa or straight to downward facing dog. When you get back to downward facing dog, give yourself a moment to recalibrate. Can you feel everything that's happening underneath the palms of your hands? Can you feel those outer arms hugging in? Can you feel as if you are, trying to pull that yoga mat apart in a way by pressing through the inner palms and spinning the triceps down? And then inhale your left leg straight back behind you. As you exhale, step your foot slowly between your hands. Seal your back foot on its edge. And walk your fingers towards the right front corner of your yoga mat. So you're letting your spine just kind of descend down here towards the inside of your left leg. You're still with that right foot, like a flipper, trying to push that foot back, the outer edge down. You're trying to create more of an arch through your right foot. Great, and then walk your hands back in, coming back into side angle pose. Left hand to the inside of the left ankle. Right arm spins up to the sky. Lean your head back like there was a wall behind you, so your earlobes reach back. And then take your arm over your ear and extend through that entire right side of the body. Breathe. Imagine every single cell in your entire body was breathing. It is. So don't just, you can imagine it, you can visualize it happening. Take your top arm back up to the sky and start to straighten that left leg, moving into Trikonasana, triangle pose. And so that left sitting bone, keep trying to track it towards the arch of your right foot. Lean your earlobes back against that imaginary wall and stretch your right arm over your ear. Keep trying to turn the left side of your chest up towards the ceiling. Good, and then circle that right arm all the way down. Pivot to the ball of your back foot. Good. And either hands to heart or hands to hips, float it up into warrior three. So take a moment, make sure that you're feeling that left inner thigh, the lifting of the pelvis off of that thigh, the spinning of your right inner thigh up towards the ceiling. And on your inhale breath, stand all the way up. Bring your knee in towards your chest. Pause, feel your core. As you exhale, find your way back into warrior three. So imagine the inseams of your legs somewhat stay connected. Like you could have a tiny piece of parchment paper between the very uppermost part of your inner thighs. As you inhale, stand back up again, knee to chest. Good. As you exhale, find your way back into warrior three. Find the wrapping of your torso. Inhale, stand it up again. And as you exhale, warrior three last time. Inhale, stand it up again. Pause here. Reach the arms out, biceps face up towards the ceiling. Inhale your arms up to the sky. And as your left inner thigh keeps spinning backward, try to extend that right leg out in front of you, any amount, without bending, without kind of adjusting where your spine is. Your spine is still straight up and down. Sally, try to spin that left inner thigh back a little more. There you go, girl. Nice. Good. And then either hands to heart or hands to hips. Warrior three. Slowly start to bend that left knee, reach the right leg way back behind you, land, up. And then hands to the top of your left quadricep, straighten your arms. And then circle them up towards the sky. Think about that tail, you were pulling it through your legs. Inhale, maybe the palms touch. And as you exhale, bring your hands down, drop your back knee down to the floor. Good, and then bend your right knee, reach back with your left, catch a hold. And press your ankle back so that you feel that opening through your left collarbone. Good, release your ankle, circle your arms back down. Walk it back up into a low lunge. And then take your arms up to the sky, palms together. Bring your hands to your heart, lean forward. And twist your right elbow across to the outside of your thigh. And think about wringing out your organs here. As much as you're thinking about wringing out your organs, think about as you wring them out, you're lifting your chest, lean your earlobes back. Find the breath. Last breath, and on your exhale, bring your hands back down. And find your way back into that downward facing dog, however you'd like to get there. When you get there, take a moment to recalibrate. And then inhale your left leg up to the sky. As you exhale, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand and drop down into Malasana again. Yogi squat, just notice if it feels a little bit different, a little bit looser. Can you get a little bit longer through your spine? Bring your hands to the floor, and as you exhale, lift your hips. And as you inhale, bend your knees, lift your chest. Again, straighten your legs, fold forward. Inhale, drop the hips, lift the chest. One more time, hold it up this time so the hips stay up, heel to your feet so that they are big toes touching, heels slightly apart. And then bend your knees and circle your arms, Utkatasana, chair pose. Good, and then from here, just keep sitting down, lower, 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 till you sit all the way back down. Navasana, so your knees can be bent or straight. Think about drawing the belly button in towards the spine and lifting the chest. You can hold onto the backs of the legs if you need to. Just breathe. Inhale, lower down, halfway, Ardha Navasana. Keep scooping your belly out. Keep lifting your shoulder blades a little higher off the floor. Exhale, Navasana. Inhale, Ardha Navasana. Exhale, Navasana. Last one, inhale, up, Ardha Navasana. Pause, scoop, scoop, scoop. And hug your knees in towards your chest. Just breathe. As you feel your systems recalibrating, calming back down, imagine your breath matriculating out to the furthest, tiniest little distributaries in your capillaries. Imagine your breath at nourishment reaching the skinniest little streams at the end of the river. Imagine that the ocean was the center of your body and it was feeding. Well, I guess the ocean doesn't feed into the streams. That doesn't make sense, but imagine that it did. And then drop your heels down, rest your hands down by your sides. Grab the outsides of your yoga mat as if you could pull it apart from one another. And then start to lift your hips up. Only lift them about halfway, and then see if you can lengthen your tailbone towards the backs of the knees a little bit more. Good, and then start to lift your chest, like you could press your chest up into your chin. You're trying to rip the yoga mat in half underneath you. Your inner thighs are moving down towards the floor. Your outer hips are lifting. And if you want to interlace the fingers and shimmy your shoulders, shoulder blades underneath you, press down into the forearms, interlace the fingers, and find your bridge pose. Five breaths. Can you stay present? Can you feel that you're still able to circulate your awareness to different parts of this posture? Amazing. And after your fifth breath, release the interlace of your hands and slowly let yourself roll down vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. Take your feet out as wide as your yoga mat and windshield wipe your knees from side to side. Good. And then step your feet back so that they're in line with your heels. So the heels, the knees, the hips, all in one line. Grab the outer edges of your yoga mat again. As you rip your yoga mat in half, feel how that movement creates a little bit more spaciousness in your collarbones. And then only lift your hips up like maybe 3 inches and see if you can elongate your tailbone more towards the backs of your knees. You'll feel your glutes turn on. So some people say not to use your glutes in bridge pose. I think that is kind of good to use our glutes in bridge pose because they do help to extend our hips. That's their job. So let your glutes be engaged, and then think about the bridge being underneath your thoracic spine. So you're trying to lift your upper spine more than you're trying to lift your lower spine. That's why it's good to engage the glutes. And then if you want to take your arms underneath you again, this time interlace the opposite thumb on top. You can keep your hands pulling the yoga mat apart if that's helpful. You don't have to make this next step. 5 breaths. Good, so release the interlace and slowly lower down, vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. Take your feet out as wide as your mat, windshield wiper them from side to side. Okay, if you want one more back bend here, you can take it. If you'd rather slide a block underneath your lower back and take your legs up to the sky, you can take that. Take another few moments to, or you just lie on your back and feel your breath. Take another few moments to just make an intelligent decision about what you need in your practice today. Nice, Sally. Good, Paula. Great. I like that choice, Carlton. Yeah, so whatever it is you're doing, take your last few breaths. Slowly lower it back down. And do not hug your knees into your chest if you just took a big back bend. Just again, windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Good. And then cross your left thigh bone over your right thigh bone. Cactus your elbows. And let your knees fall towards the right hand side. Keep the left elbow, the left shoulder blade down on the floor. Allow gravity to just kind of take over through the lower body. Don't force anything. Just see what happens if you let gravity weight your knees down towards the floor. Good. Slowly bring it back to the center. Switch the cross of your legs. Shimmy your hips off to the right so that your knees can descend towards the left and your gaze can shift towards the right. Good, and then bring it back to the center. Uncross your legs. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. And as you press your left knee away from you, strongly flex that left foot so that you don't put the stretch into the ligaments of your knee. So it might not hurt now, but over time, if we keep sickling that ankle, we will kind of create laxity in those ligaments. So we want to make sure that we're intentional on flexing that left foot nice and strong. Good. And then drop your right heel down to the floor, extend your arms out to the side, and let the sole of your left foot move towards the floor on the right. Take your right hand to the right knee and just gently press it away from you. You can use your inner thigh if the knee isn't so available. Good. And then bring it back to the center. Switch the opposite ankle, right ankle over the left knee. Hug the left knee in towards your chest. Strong flexion of that right foot, protecting the ligaments in your right knee. Eyes closed, shoulders relaxed. Entire body is breathing. So the experience of our breath is not just limited to our lungs. It's like every single cell and molecule is participating. Drop the sole of your left foot back down to the floor. Extend your arms all the way out. And imagine the right sole of your foot is trying to stamp down onto the floor towards the left as you gaze away towards the right. Whole body is breathing. Good. Bring it back to the center. And now catch the outer edges of your ankles or feet for happy baby. It's just like Malasana. Bend your left knee a little more, straighten into your right leg. And then do the opposite. Bend the right knee and straighten into your left leg. Beautiful. Bring it back to the center. Happy baby. Pull your knees down towards your armpits. Stamp your feet up towards the ceiling. Feel that opening through your pelvis, through your hips, through your thighs. And then bring your knees together. And compress yourself into a tight little ball. So lift your head and your shoulders. Imagine you could press your knees into your forehead. Maybe some of you guys can. And as you exhale, let everything go. Coming into Shavasana. So as you mindfully make your way into your favorite Shavasana position, or your favorite for this moment anyway, grab any props that might be helpful. You might want to cover your eyes so that you can really relax. So I want you to track your next inhale breath. I want you to try to lengthen it out and feel all the little places that that breath is distributing into. Feel all the places that are swelling. And as you exhale, notice all of the places in sequence, how they deflate, how that breath moves out of you. And then do that again. Track your next inhale breath. Slow, deep, steady breath. Feel the entire thing. And track the exhale breath out. And do that one more time. And when you've let that breath go all the way, just allow the breath now to move in and out naturally without any really, direction. See if you can let your limbs become heavier. And imagine the flow of energy. We've done everything from stretch our wrists to wiggle our toes, right? To circle our ankles, to reaching through the ball of foot. We've done everything in every joint we could possibly do today. So just allow that breath to nourish, repair, restore. Check in with your jaw. Make sure your teeth, there's a little bit of space between your top and your bottom teeth. You can let your tongue rest gently on the roof of your mouth. However relaxed you are in this moment, could you double that? And so as you start to bring your awareness back into your body, create any movements that might feel good. Maybe wiggle your fingers or your toes, circle your wrists or your ankles. And just feel the furthest reaches of those little tiny streams as they, fan out and become smaller and smaller streams. Bringing nourishment to all of the tissues of your body. When you're ready, nice long stretch, extend your arms back, extend your legs out, breathe. Your week starts from here, so it's like you've created this blank slate. You've processed out anything that has happened in the last couple of days. Allowing yourself to be present in this moment. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Roll over to one side and gently press yourself to a seated position. And bring your hands together in front of your heart. And as we bring our hands together in front of our heart today, It's not only a gesture of gratitude, it's a gesture of connection. That we're all in this together. We're all in this posture. We're all in this practice. We're all in this global climate. We're all in the turbulence and the vacillation, but we come back to steadiness every time we come together. Every time we come together, we come back to our own center, and we each boost each other up in finding center together. So just in gratitude for that. Bow your forehead to the tips of your fingers, so it's like unifying mind and heart. And open your eyes. Namaste. As you bow into Namaste, you're actually bowing to yourself and to each other. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.